Hello and welcome back to Mr. English Lab. My name is Laura, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to clear, confident, and natural English. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a lesson. Your support truly helps this channel grow. All right, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's session. In the quiet early hours of a soft morning, when the sky is still half asleep and the world has not yet decided how fast it wishes to move, I want to take you into a story that begins in a small apartment in a small city, with a small moment that will soon grow into something much larger, something that touches every part of our lives. My name is the voice of Mr. English Lab, and today I want to help you not only practice English listening, but also feel English in a calm, slow, and natural way as we explore how artificial intelligence is changing our world. So take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and follow my voice as it guides you through this simple story about a person named Mia, because through her eyes, you may begin to see your own world a little differently. Mia wakes up to the gentle sound of her phone, not ringing, not buzzing, but softly saying her name. It's her virtual assistant, a small AI program she once thought was just a toy on her phone, something to play with, something to ask silly questions to when she felt bored. But on this morning, the voice sounds warmer, more helpful, almost caring as it greets her with a quiet, "Good morning, Mia. You slept better last night. Your heart rate was steady. The weather is cool today. Should I open your curtains?" And before Mia can even answer, before she even opens her eyes, she feels a small smile touch her lips, because the voice sounds calm, steady, kind, and she whispers, "Yes, please," in a sleepy voice. The curtains slide open with a soft hum, and sunlight enters the room like a gentle guest, slowly filling her small apartment with gold. She sits up slowly, listening to the soft breathing of her smart air purifier, the quiet ticking of her clock that no longer really needs to tick, and the distant sound of a coffee machine starting in the kitchen. She programmed nothing. She touched nothing. She simply woke up, and AI took care of the small things, the things that used to make mornings a little messy and a little rushed. As she walks into the kitchen, she feels the warmth of fresh coffee waiting for her. Her assistant tells her that her mother sent a message last night, that she has 2 important emails waiting, and that traffic is light if she chooses to leave home in the next hour. None of these tasks used to be simple for her. Last year, Mia felt lost every morning. She forgot messages, she missed appointments, she tried to organize her day with paper notes and old habits, and nothing really worked. She felt like she was always one step behind her own life. But now something has changed, something she didn't fully understand at first. Artificial intelligence quietly entered her life, not with noise, not with fear, not with robots walking in the streets, but with small, tiny, almost invisible acts of help. It arrived in her apps, her emails, her music playlists, her calendar, her health tracker, her cooking recipes, and even in her online conversations. AI slowly became part of her daily routine, like a friend who never gets tired, never forgets, and never judges. It is still early morning as she sits by the window, holding her warm cup of coffee. She looks outside and sees the city waking up. Cars move slowly on the street. A man walks his dog. A woman carries a bag of bread. A child runs behind his father. Everything seems normal, just another day. But Mia feels something different inside her. She feels the soft beginning of a realization growing inside her chest, something she has never thought about deeply before. AI is everywhere now. Not in a scary way, not in a dramatic way, but in a simple, quiet, natural way. It has become like electricity, like water, like the internet, always there, always working in the background, shaping her day in ways she barely notices. And this makes her curious. How did this happen so fast, she wonders. When did my life change? When did the world change? She thinks about her childhood when computers were slow, when phones had buttons, when typing a message took effort and time. She remembers dial-up internet tones and waiting for web pages to load. Now everything is instant. Now everything is connected. And now everything feels different. As she finishes her coffee, her assistant quietly reminds her, "You have a meeting at 10. Do you want to wear something warm today?" Mia laughs softly because the assistant knows she always forgets to check the weather properly before choosing clothes. She nods and whispers, "Thank you," not because she thinks the assistant has feelings, but because saying thank you makes her feel more human, more gentle, more mindful. She gets dressed slowly, choosing a soft sweater and comfortable jeans. She looks at herself in the mirror, and for a moment she thinks, is AI making me lazy? Or is it helping me focus on the things that really matter? It is a question many people are asking today. Some people worry that artificial intelligence will take their jobs, replace their work, change their world too quickly. Others believe AI is a tool that can make life easier, smarter, calmer, more creative. Mia is not sure what she believes yet. She only knows that her life now feels smoother, more organized, and strangely more peaceful. But this peaceful morning does not last long. As she prepares to leave her apartment, her phone vibrates, not the gentle voice of her assistant this time, but a fast, sudden alert. She looks at the screen. A message appears. Urgent system update. AI services temporarily unavailable. She blinks. Unavailable? Her assistant's voice goes silent. Her smart lights freeze. Her coffee machine stops mid-cycle. Her calendar app closes. Her Maps app refuses to load. The world feels suddenly heavier, slower, unfamiliar. It's only a small problem, she thinks. An update. A glitch. It will pass. But the silence that fills her home tells her something she has not thought about deeply until now. She depends on AI more than she realized. She stands still in her living room, holding her phone, feeling a strange mixture of frustration and surprise. Just 3 minutes without AI, and her morning feels unstable. She doesn't know whether to laugh or feel worried. So she takes a slow breath and says out loud, "Okay, let's do this the old way." But as she steps outside and begins her day without her usual digital support, she begins to notice things she never saw before. You have a meeting at 10. Do you want to wear something warm today?" Mia laughs softly because the assistant knows she always forgets to check the weather properly before choosing clothes. She nods and whispers, "Thank you," not because she thinks the assistant has feelings, but because saying thank you makes her feel more human, more gentle, more mindful. She gets dressed slowly, choosing a soft sweater and comfortable jeans. She looks at herself in the mirror, and for a moment she thinks, is AI making me lazy? Or is it helping me focus on the things that really matter? It is a question many people are asking today. Some people worry that artificial intelligence will take their jobs, replace their work, change their world too quickly. Others believe AI is a tool that can make life easier, smarter, calmer, more creative. Mia is not sure what she believes yet. She only knows that her life now feels smoother, more organized, and strangely more peaceful. But this peaceful morning does not last long. As she prepares to leave her apartment, her phone vibrates, not the gentle voice of her assistant this time, but a fast, sudden alert. She looks at the screen. A message appears. Urgent system update. AI services temporarily unavailable. She blinks. Unavailable? Her assistant's voice goes silent. Her smart lights freeze. Her coffee machine stops mid-cycle. Her calendar app closes. Her Maps app refuses to load. The world feels suddenly heavier, slower, unfamiliar. It's only a small problem, she thinks. An update. A glitch. It will pass. But the silence that fills her home tells her something she has not thought about deeply until now. She depends on AI more than she realized. She stands still in her living room, holding her phone, feeling a strange mixture of frustration and surprise. Just 3 minutes without AI, and her morning feels unstable. She doesn't know whether to laugh or feel worried. So she takes a slow breath and says out loud, "Okay, let's do this the old way." But as she steps outside and begins her day without her usual digital support, she begins to notice things she never saw before: people talking to their phones, cars driving themselves, shops using AI screens to welcome customers, buses predicting arrival times with incredible accuracy. Everywhere she looks, she sees signs of how much artificial intelligence has become part of daily life. And this is where the story truly begins. Not in a lab, not in a science fiction movie, but in the small moments of the everyday world when something stops working and we suddenly see how deeply we rely on it. Mia walks down the street, trying to remember her schedule, trying to guess the bus timetable, trying to organize her thoughts without help. It feels strange. It feels almost like walking without glasses. And as she moves through the city, she starts to wonder, what is the real cost of convenience? What do we gain when we let AI help us? And what do we lose when we depend on it too much? These questions stay with her through the morning as she watches the city operate like a living system powered by invisible intelligence. She sees delivery robots carrying packages across sidewalks. She sees health centers offering AI-assisted checkups. She sees schools using AI to help children learn at their own pace. She sees restaurants where machines and humans work side by side. She sees elderly people using voice assistants to stay safe and connected. She sees students writing essays with AI support. She sees drivers trusting navigation systems that learn from millions of data points every second. And the more she sees, the more she realizes something important. AI is not a single thing. AI is not just a voice on her phone. It is a collection of tools, ideas, and systems that are changing the world piece by piece, moment by moment, quietly and powerfully. As she reaches her bus stop, she feels the wind touch her face. She looks up at the sky again, and this time she feels a little more awake, a little more aware, and a little more curious. Because she understands now that AI is not only about technology. It is about people. How people think, how people live, how people grow, and how people choose to use the tools that shape their world. This realization sits gently in her heart like a warm stone, and she whispers to herself, maybe this is not just technology. Maybe this is the start of a new way of living. And with that thought, the story widens, opening like a door into a much larger world, a world where artificial intelligence is not just something that makes our mornings easier, but something that transforms the way we work, learn, dream, and connect. And this is where her journey and yours deepens. Because to understand how AI is changing our lives, we must walk beside Mia, step by step, question by question, discovery by discovery. And so, as the bus arrives and she steps inside, unaware of the surprises that will unfold today, the story continues with a quiet promise. The world is changing, and you are about to see how. And through this long, slow, gentle journey, you will not only learn about artificial intelligence, you will also practice English with your ears, your mind, and your imagination. This is where the next chapter begins. When Mia steps onto the bus, she feels a strange silence in the air, a silence she cannot name at first, but something inside her senses that today will not feel like an ordinary day. The bus doors close behind her with a soft hiss, and she looks around at the passengers. Some stare out of the window. Some hold warm paper cups. Some scroll on their phones with worried expressions. A child sits close to his mother, asking why his cartoon app will not open, and the mother whispers that maybe it's broken for a little while. Mia smiles weakly because she knows what the child does not know. It's not the cartoon app, it's everything. The unexpected AI system update that stopped her smart assistant seems to have stopped many people's digital routines as well. She finds an empty seat near the middle of the bus and sits down slowly, holding her phone like a silent friend who has suddenly forgotten how to speak. The bus begins to move, and the city slides by outside the window, but today Mia is not watching the buildings or the traffic. She is watching people. People who are used to AI helping them every day. People who suddenly look a little unsure, a little lost, a little confused. A man tries to ask his navigation app for directions, but it freezes. A woman holds her phone near her face and repeats, "Hello? Hello," waiting for her voice assistant to answer. A student tries to open an AI study app, but it stays stuck on the loading screen. Mia feels something tightening inside her chest, not fear, not panic, but curiosity. She wonders. You have a meeting at 10. Do you want to wear something warm today? Mia laughs softly because the assistant knows she always forgets to check the weather properly before choosing clothes. She nods and whispers, "Thank you," not because she thinks the assistant has feelings, but because saying thank you makes her feel more human, more gentle, more mindful. She gets dressed slowly, choosing a soft sweater and comfortable jeans. She looks at herself in the mirror, and for a moment she thinks, is AI making me lazy? Or is it helping me focus on the things that really matter? It is a question many people are asking today. Some people worry that artificial intelligence will take their jobs, replace their work, change their world too quickly. Others believe AI is a tool that can make life easier, smarter, calmer, more creative. Mia is not sure what she believes yet. She only knows that her life now feels smoother, more organized, and strangely more peaceful. But this peaceful morning does not last long. As she prepares to leave her apartment, her phone vibrates, not the gentle voice of her assistant this time, but a fast, sudden alert. She looks at the screen. A message appears. Urgent system update. AI services temporarily unavailable. She blinks. Unavailable? Her assistant's voice goes silent. Her smart lights freeze. Her coffee machine stops mid-cycle. Her calendar app closes. Her Maps app refuses to load. The world feels suddenly heavier, slower, unfamiliar. It's only a small problem, she thinks. An update. A glitch. It will pass. But the silence that fills her home tells her something she has not thought about deeply until now. She depends on AI more than she realized. She stands still in her living room, holding her phone, feeling a strange mixture of frustration and surprise. Just 3 minutes without AI, and her morning feels unstable. She doesn't know whether to laugh or feel worried. So she takes a slow breath and says out loud, "Okay, let's do this the old way." But as she steps outside and begins her day without her usual digital support, she begins to notice things she never saw before: people talking to their phones, cars driving themselves, shops using AI screens to welcome customers, buses predicting arrival times with incredible accuracy. Everywhere she looks, she sees signs of how much artificial intelligence has become part of daily life. And this is where the story truly begins. Not in a lab, not in a science fiction movie, but in the small moments of the everyday world when something stops working and we suddenly see how deeply we rely on it. Mia walks down the street, trying to remember her schedule, trying to guess the bus timetable, trying to organize her thoughts without help. It feels strange. It feels almost like walking without glasses. And as she moves through the city, she starts to wonder, what is the real cost of convenience? What do we gain when we let AI help us? And what do we lose when we depend on it too much? These questions stay with her through the morning as she watches the city operate like a living system powered by invisible intelligence. She sees delivery robots carrying packages across sidewalks. She sees health centers offering AI-assisted checkups. She sees schools using AI to help children learn at their own pace. She sees restaurants where machines and humans work side by side. She sees elderly people using voice assistants to stay safe and connected. She sees students writing essays with AI support. She sees drivers trusting navigation systems that learn from millions of data points every second. And the more she sees, the more she realizes something important. AI is not a single thing. AI is not just a voice on her phone. It is a collection of tools, ideas, and systems that are changing the world piece by piece, moment by moment, quietly and powerfully. As she reaches her bus stop, she feels the wind touch her face. She looks up at the sky again, and this time she feels a little more awake, a little more aware, and a little more curious. Because she understands now that AI is not only about technology. It is about people. How people think, how people live, how people grow, and how people choose to use the tools that shape their world. This realization sits gently in her heart like a warm stone, and she whispers to herself, maybe this is not just technology. Maybe this is the start of a new way of living. And with that thought, the story widens, opening like a door into a much larger world, a world where artificial intelligence is not just something that makes our mornings easier, but something that transforms the way we work, learn, dream, and connect. And this is where her journey and yours deepens. Because to understand how AI is changing our lives, we must walk beside Mia, step by step, question by question, discovery by discovery. And so, as the bus arrives and she steps inside, unaware of the surprises that will unfold today, the story continues with a quiet promise. The world is changing, and you are about to see how. And through this long, slow, gentle journey, you will not only learn about artificial intelligence, you will also practice English with your ears, your mind, and your imagination. This is where the next chapter begins. When Mia steps onto the bus, she feels a strange silence in the air, a silence she cannot name at first, but something inside her senses that today will not feel like an ordinary day. The bus doors close behind her with a soft hiss, and she looks around at the passengers. Some stare out of the window. Some hold warm paper cups. Some scroll on their phones with worried expressions. A child sits close to his mother, asking why his cartoon app will not open, and the mother whispers that maybe it's broken for a little while. Mia smiles weakly because she knows what the child does not know. It's not the cartoon app, it's everything. The unexpected AI system update that stopped her smart assistant seems to have stopped many people's digital routines as well. She finds an empty seat near the middle of the bus and sits down slowly, holding her phone like a silent friend who has suddenly forgotten how to speak. The bus begins to move, and the city slides by outside the window, but today Mia is not watching the buildings or the traffic. She is watching people. People who are used to AI helping them every day. People who suddenly look a little unsure, a little lost, a little confused. A man tries to ask his navigation app for directions, but it freezes. A woman holds her phone near her face and repeats, "Hello? Hello," waiting for her voice assistant to answer. A student tries to open an AI study app, but it stays stuck on the loading screen. Mia feels something tightening inside her chest, not fear, not panic, but curiosity. She wonders what people would do if AI stopped working for an entire day. Maybe the city would slow down. Maybe people would talk more. Maybe they would notice things they usually ignore. Or maybe the opposite would happen. Maybe everyone would rush, stress, and try to solve problems quickly because they rely on AI more than they realize. As the bus continues moving, Mia hears a soft tone, her bus route screen turning off and on. Normally, the bus uses AI to calculate stops, arrival times, and route changes. Now the screen simply shows a blank blue glow. Some passengers raise their eyebrows, but no one says anything. Life continues, even when technology sleeps. Mia becomes aware of a quiet truth in this moment. AI has become part of the background of life, like the air conditioner humming, like the refrigerator running, like the traffic lights changing. People barely notice it until it stops. As the bus turns a corner, the sun rises higher, and soft golden light fills the windows. Mia rests her head against the cool glass and lets her thoughts wander. She thinks about how AI started as a simple idea years ago, in research labs, in old computers, in simple games and mathematical problems. Now it listens to voices, drives cars, detects diseases, writes messages, suggests movies, translates languages, protects homes, and helps people with disabilities. It has grown so fast, moving like water through every part of life. And Mia wonders if this growth happened too quickly, or if it is simply the natural next chapter of human progress. She closes her eyes for a moment and imagines a future where AI is even more advanced, maybe living in smart cities with responsive traffic lights, hospitals with perfect diagnosis systems, classrooms where every student receives personalized lessons, and homes where elderly people feel safe because AI watches over them. This future feels close, almost here. But Mia knows that with every big change, there is also a cost. People feel uncertain. Jobs shift. Skills evolve. Trust becomes complicated. And sometimes, like today, life feels slightly unstable when AI goes silent. The bus stops at a red light, and Mia opens her eyes again. Outside, she sees a small bakery she used to visit years ago, before it replaced its cashier with an AI ordering screen. She remembers the warm smile of the old baker, his friendly conversation, the smell of fresh bread, the quiet joy of simple human interaction. The bakery still exists, but now the door opens automatically, the screen inside greets customers by name, and robotic arms prepare dough with perfect precision. People like it because it's fast and clean. But sometimes Mia misses the old days. She wonders if AI really replaces human connection, or if it just changes the way people connect. The bus moves again, passing a school where children run outside during morning playtime. Mia watches them for a moment. Some children chase each other. Some draw with chalk. But many are gathered around a small AI-powered robot that dances and tells stories. The children laugh, clap, and follow the robot as if it were a friend. For them, AI is not strange. It is normal. It is part of their childhood. It is part of their world from the beginning. Mia smiles gently, thinking about how quickly new generations adapt to technology that older generations fear or question. For children, AI is like magic that doesn't need to be explained. As the bus continues, Mia feels her phone vibrate again. She looks down. Another system message appears. Update in progress. AI services restarting soon. Her heart relaxes a little, and she lets out a slow breath she didn't know she was holding. It is strange how small alerts can control her emotions now. She wonders if people will ever feel too attached to their digital tools, too dependent on them for comfort, direction, and confidence. But before she can explore that thought, something unexpected happens. The bus stops suddenly, not in a dangerous way, but in a way that makes everyone look up. The driver stands and speaks to the passengers with a calm voice. Ladies and gentlemen, the smart route system is down. I need to confirm the next stops manually. Please stay patient. The passengers nod, some shrug, some whisper. Mia feels a warm wave of emotion inside her, not annoyance, but admiration. The driver is not a system. The driver is not a program. The driver is a real human being, and in this moment, the human takes control again. For a moment, the world feels older, slower, more human. The bus moves again, not guided by AI this time, but guided by memory and experience. As the city passes by outside, Mia wonders, is this a small problem or a gentle reminder that humans and AI should work together, not depend entirely on one side? She feels her phone vibrate again. A soft tone. Her assistant's voice returns, a little shaky, as if waking up from a long sleep. Mia. I'm back. Systems are restarting. She lets out a small laugh, surprised by how relieved she feels. The assistant continues, your meeting at 10 is still scheduled. Would you like help preparing? But Mia shakes her head softly and whispers, not now. I want to think for myself for a moment. Her assistant stays silent. And Mia feels something unusual. Power. Her own power. Her own mind. Her own ability to think, plan, remember, and choose without digital help. She realizes that AI has helped her in many wonderful ways, but it has also made her forget how strong she can be on her own. The bus slows down as it approaches her stop. Mia stands, holding the metal rail as she moves toward the door. Her steps feel steady. Her heart feels curious. Outside, the air is cool and fresh, and she walks into the city with her phone in her pocket, not in her hand. The buildings around her are tall, clean, and filled with digital signs. Some screens flash updates about the AI outage. Some show advertisements created by AI design programs. Some display live news written by AI language systems. And for the first time today, Mia looks at these signs with a new set of eyes. She sees not just screens, but the invisible intelligence behind them. She turns a corner and sees a delivery robot stuck at the edge of a sidewalk, its wheels spinning gently, unable to detect the correct path because the guidance system is glitching. A man laughs softly and helps move it to the center again. People continue walking, barely noticing how normal these machines have become. Mia reaches her office building, a tall structure made of glass and quiet, humming technology. She walks through the automatic doors and enters a lobby where an AI receptionist usually greets visitors. The screen today is dark. A real human guard stands nearby instead. 8th floor, thinking about how many parts of her life are shaped by AI, even in ways she never noticed. The elevator usually predicts her floor before she touches the button, but today, she presses the button herself. It feels almost nostalgic, like touching a piece of the past. When she reaches her office, she sees coworkers gathered in small groups, talking about the outage. Some are annoyed. Some are amused. Some are confused. And some, like Mia, seem quietly thoughtful, as if something in today's unusual silence has opened a door inside their minds. Mia sits at her desk, opens her laptop, and waits. Slowly, her apps begin to load again. Her calendar reappears. Her reminders return. Her documents open. Everything feels normal again, almost too normal. But Mia is not the same as she was this morning. Something inside her has shifted. She begins her work, but her mind keeps returning to the same quiet thought. What is AI doing to us? Not just to our phones and our jobs, but to our habits, our thinking, our confidence, our way of living. She looks around and notices that people move differently now that the systems are back online. They seem relaxed, almost relieved, as if a friend has returned. Mia wonders if AI has become a kind of safety net, something people lean on without realizing it. And as she watches her coworkers typing, planning, creating, and solving problems with digital help once again, she feels a gentle sense of responsibility growing inside her. She wants to understand AI better. Not just its convenience. Not just its power. but also its challenges, its risks, its emotional impact on human life. She wants to learn how AI affects not only her mornings and her meetings, but her choices, her values, her identity. And as she sits at her desk, the quiet beginning of a new journey begins to form in her heart, a journey of awareness, discovery, and growth. She doesn't know yet where this journey will lead. She doesn't know how deeply AI will shape her life or the world around her. She only knows one thing for certain. Today, something inside her woke up, something she wants to follow. And as she looks out the window at the bright city glowing under the morning sun, she makes a small promise to herself. I will understand this. I will explore this. I will learn how AI is truly changing our lives. And with that simple promise, her story and our story moves forward into the next chapter. Because to understand the world, we must see it through our own quiet moments of confusion, curiosity, and clarity. And Mia has just taken her first true step into that understanding. When lunchtime arrives, Mia steps out of her office building and walks toward the heart of the city, a place she has visited hundreds of times, but somehow feels new today. As if the morning's brief silence from AI opened a hidden door in her awareness, and now she is seeing everything with fresh eyes, softer eyes, more curious eyes, like a traveler in her own home. The streets are filled with movement, cars flowing like rivers, bikes gliding through bike lanes, people crossing streets guided by smart traffic lights that change based on real-time data from cameras and sensors. Systems so normal now that no one pays attention to them except Mia, who watches with wonder, noticing the tiny details of how the city listens, thinks, predicts, and responds. She passes a cafe where customers tap their phones to order, and an AI system inside the shop suggests drinks based on mood, weather, and past choices. A screen above the counter flashes friendly messages. Welcome back. You might enjoy a warm latte today. People smile as if the screen were a friend who remembers them, and Mia feels the gentle pull of a question inside her. Why do humans enjoy being recognized by machines? Is it convenience? Is it comfort? Or is it something deeper, something about wanting to feel seen, even by a digital eye? She keeps walking, letting these thoughts mix with the soft breeze, and soon she enters a large plaza where a group of tourists gather around an AI guide robot. The robot moves smoothly on small wheels and speaks in a warm human-like voice, giving directions, answering questions, translating languages instantly for visitors who laugh at its polite humor. A child touches the side of the robot and asks, "Are you real?" And the robot answers, "I am here to help you," and the child accepts this answer with pure innocence. Mia watches the scene with a rising warmth, realizing that for children, the line between human and machine is softer than it is for adults, less rigid, less fearful. To them, AI is not a threat, it is a helper, a teacher, a friend. She continues walking until she reaches a quiet corner of the plaza where a service booth uses AI to help elderly people with health questions. A screen scans faces gently, checking for signs of stress, illness, or confusion. An older woman sits down and places her hand on a sensor while the AI assistant asks softly, "How are you feeling today?" The woman answers calmly, trusting the system as if it were a kind nurse. Mia stands at a distance, watching the peacefulness of the moment, thinking about how AI can give comfort where humans sometimes cannot, how it can give time and attention without growing tired or impatient. But she also thinks about privacy, about the data being collected, about the invisible trade people make when they allow technology to help them. She feels a mixture of admiration and caution, a balance she is trying to understand. She walks further into the city, passing a small alley where she hears the gentle whir of delivery drones rising into the sky, carrying packages of medicine, food, and books to homes across the city. Their movements are smooth and exact, like mechanical birds trained to fly perfectly. A man nearby watches them with a smile and tells his friend, "They save me so much time. I can't imagine life without them now." Mia hears this and feels the same pull inside her, the question of how quickly people adapt to new comforts and how easily they forget the world before those comforts existed. She turns left, entering a long street lined with shops that use AI to recommend items as soon as customers walk in. A clothing store estimates sizes based on body posture. A music shop plays songs that match the energy of people inside. A bookstore suggests novels based on a customer's reading speed and emotional preferences. Everything feels personalized, shaped around human habits, as if the city itself is paying attention. And yet Mia wonders, when everything is tailored for us, do we lose the joy of discovery, of surprise, of exploring things we didn't expect? She steps into a bookstore to test this thought. The lights brighten gently as she enters, and a soft voice greets her. "Hello, Mia. You have not visited for 2 weeks. Would you like something calm today?" She smiles awkwardly, feeling the strange blend of comfort and intrusion. The system highlights books on the screen, stories about personal growth, gentle fiction, soft mysteries. But Mia intentionally walks to a different shelf, a shelf the system did not recommend, and picks up a book about the history of creativity. Holding it in her hands feels strangely rebellious, like choosing something outside her predicted path. She smiles, realizing that AI can guide her, but she can always choose for herself. After paying, she leaves the store and walks toward a quiet park. The park is large and green, with walking paths and small lakes where people sit and rest. It is one of the few places in the city where AI is subtle, almost invisible. But even here, she notices sensors that monitor foot traffic to keep paths clean, and small cleaning robots sweeping leaves gently to keep the park beautiful. She sits on a bench under a tree and watches the leaves move slowly in the wind. For a long moment, the world feels simple and natural, and she imagines what life would be like without AI, more manual, more unpredictable, perhaps more chaotic, but also more connected to small human efforts, the kind of efforts people sometimes forget to appreciate. As she sits there, she feels her phone buzz softly. Her assistant speaks again, smoother now, fully awake. "Mia, I noticed you seem more thoughtful today. Would you like a summary of recent AI news?" Mia laughs quietly because her assistant cannot truly understand her emotions, but it tries. It always tries. She shakes her head. "Not now," she whispers. "I'm learning on my own today." She places her phone beside her and looks around the park again. She watches a man jogging with smart sensors on his shoes, telling him how fast he moves. She watches a woman practicing a new language with an AI tutor in her earbuds. She sees a teenager using an AI art app to draw fantastical creatures on her tablet. Everywhere she looks, AI is not replacing life, it is blending into it, supporting it, shaping it. And Mia finally realizes something important, something she hadn't seen clearly until now. AI is not one big invention. It is thousands of small inventions, connected like threads in a giant web, touching every corner of daily life, guiding people gently, often without them noticing. It is as if the city has become a living organism, one that listens and responds, one that is learning, one that grows each day. But even as she feels this understanding grow, she also feels a soft warning inside her. When something becomes invisible, people forget to question it, forget to guide it, forget to stay awake. Technology shapes people, but people must shape technology too. She stands up from the bench, feeling the gentle weight of her new book in her bag. The sun is beginning to set, painting the sky in warm orange. The city lights turn on, glowing softly, controlled by smart systems that balance energy use based on weather and time. The streets grow busier as the workday ends. And Mia walks slowly through the park, knowing she is walking not just through a city, but through a living example of how artificial intelligence is changing human life in ways big and small. She feels more awake than ever, as if something inside her has opened. The day feels different now. The world feels different now. And she feels ready to understand it more deeply. As she reaches the exit of the park, she whispers to herself, "This is only the beginning," and steps back into the bright, humming, intelligent city with new eyes. When the sun finally softens into the gentle gold of late afternoon, Mia makes her way back toward her office building, not because she needs to work more, but because she feels as if today is leading her somewhere, pulling her gently toward a moment she does not fully understand yet, a moment that might help her make sense of everything she has been feeling. She enters the building quietly, walks past coworkers packing their bags, past screens humming softly, past the tall glass windows reflecting the city like a dream, and she steps into the elevator. It carries her upward with a calm hum, and she feels the soft weight of her thoughts pressing against her heart. When the doors open on her floor, she notices someone sitting in the small lounge area, a man with silver gray hair, thin glasses, and a calm expression. She recognizes him. Dr. Lewis. The quiet, thoughtful AI researcher who works on the same floor but rarely joins office conversations. People say he knows more about artificial intelligence than anyone in the building. Some say he worked on early AI language projects years before they became popular. Others say he is a humble genius who avoids attention. Mia has never spoken to him before, but today she feels drawn to him, as if her curiosity and the silence of this morning have gently pushed her toward this encounter. She hesitates for a moment, then walks toward him. He looks up and offers a warm smile, the kind that invites conversation without words. Mia clears her throat softly and says, "Excuse me. I hope I'm not bothering you." Dr. Lewis shakes his head gently. "Not at all. Please sit." She sits across from him, feeling strangely nervous, as if she is about to ask a question she herself barely understands. The lounge is quiet, filled with soft evening light. She takes a breath and says, "Can I ask you something? Something about AI?" He nods. His eyes are patient, open. "Of course." Mia folds her hands and finally speaks the truth she has been carrying all day. "Today, something strange happened. The AI systems went down. Just for a little while. And I realized how much I depend on them. How much everyone does. It scared me a little. And it made me curious too. I want to understand what this all means, how AI is really changing our lives." For a moment, Dr. Lewis says nothing. He leans back slightly, thinking. Then he nods slowly. "You've just experienced what I call the quiet shock. It happens when something we rely on becomes invisible and then suddenly stops. That silence makes us see our world clearly for the first time." Mia listens, her heart tightening with recognition. "Yes," she whispers. "That's exactly how it felt." Dr. Lewis smiles softly. "Most people think AI changes life when it does something new, when it creates art, or writes stories, or drives cars. But I believe AI changes life most deeply when it does something simple, when it remembers for us, organizes for us, comforts us, predicts things for us, so quietly that we forget we ever did those things ourselves." Mia feels a warm shock inside her chest because those words touch something she has been feeling all day but could not express. She leans forward. "Is that bad?" Dr. Lewis shakes his head gently. "It's not bad. It's not good. It's simply powerful. And powerful tools always ask us to be responsible, thoughtful, awake." He pauses, choosing his words slowly. AI can help us live better lives, healthier, safer, more connected. But it can also make us forget our own abilities if we're not careful. Mia nods, remembering her morning without AI, how lost she felt, how strange it was to think on her own again without digital help. "So, what should we do?" she asks softly. Dr. Lewis smiles in a way that makes her feel calmer. "We should use AI as a partner, not as a replacement. We should let it help us, but not let it take our place. We should let it guide us, but not let it make our decisions. We should stay human, curious, thoughtful, aware." Mia breathes out slowly, feeling the weight inside her chest becoming lighter. She notices the deep kindness in his voice, the wisdom in his calm posture, and she feels grateful for this unexpected moment. Dr. Lewis continues, "Do you want to know what I find most beautiful about AI?" Mia nods. "The most beautiful thing about AI," he says, "is that it learns from us. Every answer it gives is shaped by a human pattern. Every idea it suggests is shaped by human creativity. Every story it tells is shaped by human imagination. AI is powerful, yes. But you must never forget, its intelligence comes from us. It is a reflection, a mirror, a partner." These words settle into Mia's heart like soft light filling a dark room. She realizes that her fear of AI taking over comes from forgetting that humans built it, trained it, designed it. AI is not a stranger. It is a creation. And creations inherit the heart of their creators. "But," Mia says slowly, "do you think AI will ever become too powerful?" Dr. Lewis smiles gently. "Power depends on how we use it. AI today cannot feel human emotion. It cannot want power. It cannot dream of taking control. But humans who misuse AI, that is where problems come from. So the responsibility is in our hands. And that is why awareness, your awareness, is the most important part." Mia feels a warmth rising inside her. She is not afraid now. She is awakened, curious, even hopeful. Dr. Lewis sees this change in her and says, "Today was not a failure of AI. It was a reminder. It showed you the invisible threads that keep your life moving. You saw the world clearly today, and not many people take the time to do that." Mia looks down at her hands and smiles softly. "I think I want to understand more. Not professionally, not as a scientist, but as a human who lives in this world." Dr. Lewis nods with gentle approval. "Then you have already taken your first step." The office around them grows quieter as more people leave. The sun dips lower, painting streaks of orange across the glass walls. Mia feels as if time has slowed, allowing her to absorb every word. She hesitates, then asks one more question, one that has been whispering in her mind all afternoon. "Do you think AI is changing who we are?" Dr. Lewis thinks carefully before answering. "I think AI is making us ask questions we have ignored for a long time. Questions about our habits, our values, our creativity, our attention, our dependence, our purpose. It is not changing who we are. It is revealing who we are." Mia feels that sentence ripple through her like a soft wave. It is true. Technology does not invent new fears or strengths. It shows the ones already inside people. She feels more grounded now, as if this conversation has placed her feet back on solid earth. Dr. Lewis stands, picking up his small notebook. "Walk slowly," he says kindly. "Observe the world. See both the human and the machine. You will understand more than you expect." Mia stands too. "Thank you," she says with quiet sincerity. "For listening. And for explaining." He nods once, gently. "Curiosity is the beginning of wisdom, Mia. Stay curious." And with that, he walks toward the elevator and disappears behind the sliding doors. Mia stands alone in the golden light of the empty lounge, feeling something new inside her, not confusion, not fear, but a calm, steady curiosity that makes her feel awake in a way she never felt before. Today changed her. Not because AI stopped working, but because she finally noticed how deeply it shaped her life. And now she wants to understand it, question it, and use it with awareness. She slowly picks up her bag and walks toward the exit, ready for the evening air, ready for the next chapter of her journey, one that will take her deeper into the world of artificial intelligence, deeper into the human heart, and deeper into herself. When Mia steps out of the building, the evening air feels different, softer, as if the city itself has taken a long, slow breath after a day of strange interruptions and small awakenings. And she walks toward the street with a kind of calm curiosity blooming in her chest, a curiosity she has not felt in years, the kind that makes the world seem larger and more mysterious and more alive. The street is glowing with warm yellow lights, cars humming gently, and screens flashing advertisements shaped by AI predictions. But now she does not see them as she once did. She sees them as pieces of a living puzzle, a system of invisible helpers working quietly around her. She stands at the edge of the sidewalk, waiting for the pedestrian light to turn green, and she laughs quietly because earlier this morning she did not even notice these lights were AI-controlled, adjusting their timing based on foot traffic, weather, and road conditions. But now she sees everything, every small sign of intelligence, woven into the city like threads in a large tapestry. As she crosses the street, she feels a cozy warmth in her chest, the warmth of understanding, the warmth of knowing she is part of something bigger than she realized. She passes a cafe window where people sit with laptops open, their screens glowing with documents, messages, and AI suggestions that help shape their work. She passes a small outdoor table where a woman uses her phone to translate a conversation with a tourist, both laughing as the AI tries its best to capture their words with kindness and clarity. She passes a group of teenagers recording a video with an AI editing app that smooths their footage instantly, helping them express themselves in ways previous generations could never imagine. Everywhere she looks, AI is not replacing life, it is helping people share it, shape it, expand it. But Mia also sees something else. She sees choice. The choice people make when they decide how much to lean on technology, how much to learn from it, how much to question it, how much to let it guide them. She steps into a quiet side street where the noise of the city fades, and she walks slowly, letting her thoughts drift like gentle clouds. She thinks about Dr. Lewis's words, about how AI is a reflection, not a ruler, and how humans must guide it with awareness and kindness. She thinks about her morning, how lost she felt when AI went silent, and how strong she felt when she remembered she could think for herself. She thinks about how AI changed her routines, her habits, her choices, and how she now wants to change the way she approaches AI, not with fear, not with dependence, but with curiosity and balance. She looks up at the tall buildings, their windows glowing like stars, and she imagines how many people inside are being helped by AI right now, students writing essays, grandparents speaking to voice assistants, nurses using AI tools to check patients, artists using AI to create music or pictures, workers solving problems with AI suggestions. She realizes AI is not one large force, it is 1,000 small hands offering help. And she smiles because she finally understands that the real question is not what will AI do to us, but what will we choose to do with AI? Mia continues walking until she reaches a small bridge that crosses a quiet river flowing through the center of the city. She leans on the railing, listening to the gentle water below, and for a moment everything feels peaceful, slow, and clear. Her phone buzzes softly, but this time she doesn't rush to check it. She lets it buzz once, twice, then finally lifts it from her pocket. Her assistant's voice appears, calm and warm as always. "Mia, your schedule for tomorrow is ready. Would you like to review it?" But Mia shakes her head and speaks softly, almost tenderly, "Not now. Tell me something else instead." The assistant pauses. "What would you like to know?" Mia thinks for a moment and then whispers, "Tell me something positive, something hopeful." The assistant responds gently, "Today, more than 1 million people learned something new with the help of AI. Many used it to solve problems, understand ideas, or connect with others." Mia closes her eyes, letting the words settle. She realizes AI is not only a mirror, it is a tool for learning, for growing, for becoming more aware human beings. "Thank you," she whispers, but this time her thank you is not just polite, it is full of understanding. She takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly, watching the soft lights reflect on the water below. This day started ordinary, then became complicated, then became surprising, then became meaningful. And now, standing on the bridge, she feels a quiet transformation inside her, something steady, something new. She realizes she no longer wants to be a passive user of AI. She wants to be an active thinker, someone who understands the tools she depends on, someone who stays awake, someone who chooses wisely. She wants to treat AI not as a crutch, but as a companion, not as a replacement, but as a partner. As night settles over the city, she turns away from the river and begins walking home. The streets glow softly, the AI systems hum quietly in the background, everything functioning smoothly again. But Mia is no longer walking through the same city she woke up in. The buildings are the same. The lights are the same. The people are the same. But she is different. Her eyes are open now. Her thinking is deeper now. Her heart is steadier now. She walks slowly, feeling the cool night wind brush her face, feeling the warm weight of newfound understanding inside her chest. And as she reaches her apartment door, she looks at her reflection in the glass and whispers with a small, gentle smile, "This is just the beginning." She enters her home, closes the door softly behind her, and steps into the quiet of the night, ready for tomorrow, ready for learning, ready for a world shaped by both intelligence and humanity. When Mia steps into her apartment, the familiar softness of home wraps around her like a warm blanket, but tonight it feels different, almost brighter, as if the walls themselves are listening to her new thoughts, and she walks slowly through the quiet rooms, touching the back of a chair, the edge of a table, the cool surface of the kitchen counter, noticing how everything feels both comfortingly familiar and strangely new because her mind is awake in a way it wasn't this morning. She sets her bag down gently, takes off her shoes, and walks to the window where the city lights shimmer like distant stars, each one shaped, measured, and controlled by some tiny thread of artificial intelligence. She stands there for a long moment, letting the view settle inside her, letting her breathing slow, and she whispers softly to herself, "What a strange, beautiful, complicated world I am living in." She thinks about how the day began so simply, with warm morning light and gentle AI voices, and how a single unexpected silence, AI going down for a few minutes, opened the door to a whole journey of awareness, reflection, and curiosity. She remembers the people on the bus, confused and uncertain, the shop screens blinking gently back to life, the delivery robot stuck on the sidewalk, the children laughing at the little dancing AI robot, the teenagers making videos with AI apps, the elderly woman trusting the soft voice of a health assistant, the city reacting like a living creature when the system shut down. All these small moments drift through her mind like soft waves, and she feels something inside her expand, an understanding, a respect, a cautious admiration. She steps into her small living room, sits on the sofa, and looks at her phone resting beside her like a quiet friend. The screen glows lightly, waiting for attention, and for the first time she asks herself a deep question. Am I using AI, or is AI shaping me? She does not mean shaping her actions in simple ways, reminders, schedules, messages, but shaping her thinking, her habits, her choices, the way she moves through the world. It's a question she realizes many people never ask because AI doesn't shout, doesn't demand attention, doesn't push itself into your life like loud technology from the past. AI slips in gently, offering help, offering comfort, offering solutions, and people accept it with open arms because it feels easy, natural, almost magical. She leans back against the sofa cushion, remembering Dr. Lewis's words, AI is a mirror, a partner, a reflection. It learns from us. She wonders how true that is. Does AI only learn from people, or does it change people in return? Does it make people more efficient? Or does it make them more dependent? Does it help them think more clearly? Or does it take away the effort of thinking? She feels a strange warmth in her chest, fear mixed with excitement, doubt mixed with wonder. She walks to the kitchen, pours a glass of water, and returns to the sofa, the soft sound of water moving in the glass reminding her of the quiet river she stood beside earlier. She takes a sip and closes her eyes, letting her mind drift deeper. She thinks about how people used to search for answers in books, by asking friends, by exploring problems slowly and calmly, by making mistakes, by learning through experience. Now answers appear instantly, shaped by algorithms that predict what people want before they even finish typing. People don't always remember things because AI remembers for them. People don't always plan because AI organizes everything. People don't always think deeply because AI offers shortcuts. She is not judging, she is simply noticing, observing, awakening. She wonders, if AI helps us with everything, what happens to the parts of ourselves that used to do those jobs? She isn't afraid of AI taking over the world. She is afraid of humans giving up too much of themselves. But then, just as her thoughts begin to drift too far into worry, another voice inside her speaks, a gentle one, a rational one. AI can also free us. Free us from stress, from confusion, from heavy tasks. It can give us more time to create, to rest, to connect with people. She thinks of the elderly woman in the health booth, smiling with comfort. She thinks of the children laughing with the storytelling robot. She thinks of businesses running smoothly, of smart lights saving energy, of AI translation helping strangers understand each other. AI is not taking humanity away. AI is giving new kinds of help, new abilities, new forms of connection. And Mia realizes something deep. The problem is not AI itself. The question is how humans choose to use it. She stands up, walks to her small bookshelf, and takes out the new book she bought earlier, the one about creativity. She opens it, skims the first pages, and smiles at a sentence that says, "Creativity is born from the balance between knowledge and imagination." She whispers softly, maybe the same is true for AI. Maybe we need balance. She feels a gentle spark inside her, hope mixed with clarity. She walks to her balcony, opens the sliding door, and steps out into the cool night air. The city glows below her, humming softly with life and digital intelligence. She leans on the balcony railing, feeling the metal cool beneath her hands, and she begins talking to herself, quietly, thoughtfully, the way people do when they are sorting out something important. Maybe AI is not here to replace us, she whispers. Maybe it's here to challenge us, to help us become more thoughtful, more aware, more human. She watches the movement of cars, each guided by sensors and algorithms that keep them safe. She sees delivery drones flying gently like little glowing insects. She hears distant voices from people using translation apps. She even sees her neighbor speaking to a voice assistant about a recipe. It strikes her gently that AI is a part of life now, woven into homes, streets, hospitals, schools, businesses, meals, conversations. And she asks herself a quiet question, the kind that stays with you long after it's spoken. If AI is everywhere, who do we become as humans? She closes her eyes, listening to the city breathe. She feels her thoughts weaving themselves into something clear, something honest. We become whatever we choose. She smiles softly because now she knows what she wants. She doesn't want to fear AI, and she doesn't want to blindly depend on it. She wants to walk beside it, understand it, question it, guide it, and use it with intention. She steps back inside her apartment, closes the balcony door, and sits again on the sofa. She takes her phone gently in her hands and looks at it not as a tool, not as a distraction, but as a partner she now understands better. She presses the screen and says, "Assistant, I want to learn more about AI. Not just how to use it, but how it works. Can you help me start?" The assistant responds in its calm voice, "Of course, Mia. Would you like a simple introduction or a deeper exploration?" Mia smiles. "Let's start simple," she whispers, "and go deeper step by step." The assistant begins explaining in gentle, beginner-friendly words what AI is, how it learns, why it makes predictions, how it uses data, how it tries to help. Mia listens closely, absorbing each idea like fresh air. But for the first time in her life, she is not listening passively. She pauses. She asks questions. She reflects. She thinks. She feels in control, and it gives her a warm strength she didn't have before. After a while, she thanks the assistant and sets her phone aside. She takes a deep breath, turns off the lights, and lies down in bed. The room becomes quiet, warm, peaceful. She stares at the ceiling in the gentle darkness, and a soft smile forms on her lips. She whispers, "Today I woke up in a world filled with AI, and I ended the day waking up inside myself." And as her eyes slowly close and her breathing softens, she drifts into sleep with a sense of calm purpose, ready for the next chapter of her journey with artificial intelligence, ready to understand more, ready to question more, ready to grow more, ready. At last, to live with technology not as a shadow, but as a companion she truly sees. The next morning arrives slowly, with soft sunlight touching the edge of Mia's curtains, and when she opens her eyes, she feels something new inside her, not excitement, not fear, but a calm, steady sense of direction. As if her mind and heart finally agree on the same quiet truth. She sits up, stretches gently, and listens to the familiar voice of her AI assistant greeting her, but this time she hears it differently, not as a tool that controls her morning, but as a partner she now understands more deeply. She gets out of bed and steps into the kitchen, making coffee by hand today, not because the machine can't do it for her, but because she wants to feel the simple weight of each moment. As the warm smell fills the room, she leans against the counter and whispers to herself today. "I begin." She doesn't fully know what she is beginning, but she feels the intention clearly, like a soft light inside her chest. She sits at her small dining table with her phone in her hand, opens a new note, and types the words, "My AI Understanding Journey, Day 1. Seeing the words makes her smile, because they look small and simple, but they represent something large, something that has been quietly growing inside her since yesterday. She finishes her coffee and gets ready for the day, putting on comfortable clothes and a light jacket. As she ties her shoes, she thinks about what Dr. Lewis said, "Curiosity is the beginning of wisdom." She feels that sentence guiding her like a quiet compass. She steps outside and walks down the street toward the bus stop, feeling the rhythm of the city around her, cars humming, drones buzzing softly overhead, people talking to their devices, delivery robots gliding along the sidewalks. Everything looks the same as yesterday, but she feels different, more awake, more aware, as if someone cleaned the lens through which she sees the world. The bus arrives right on time, thanks to the AI route prediction system that is now fully restored, and she steps inside, choosing a seat by the window. The morning light pours through the glass, painting her hands in soft warmth, and she takes out her phone, opening a simple article about how machine learning works. The words look unfamiliar at first, like pieces of a puzzle she hasn't solved yet, but she reads slowly, patiently. AI learns from data, the article explains. It recognizes patterns. It makes predictions. Mia repeats the sentences softly to herself, letting them settle in her mind. She reads about how AI is trained, how it improves by seeing thousands of examples, how it tries to guess what humans want. And she realizes something surprising: AI is not magical. It's not mysterious. It's not alive. It is a very complex student, one that learns by watching millions of tiny details. She smiles because understanding this makes her feel less intimidated and more curious. When the bus reaches her stop, she steps onto the sidewalk with a lightness in her step. She walks into her office building, nodding to the human guard who greets her warmly again, and she feels a sense of comfort knowing that some things in the world, like kindness, come only from real people. She walks to her desk, turns on her computer, and begins her work, but today her mind is searching for something more, something beyond her usual tasks. During her break, she opens a beginner-friendly online course about AI principles. The videos are simple, clear, and filled with gentle explanations. She listens as the instructor says, AI is a tool, and like any tool, it depends on the hands that use it. Mia writes this sentence down in her notebook. It feels important. It feels true. She continues watching, learning about different types of AI, voice assistants, image recognition systems, recommendation engines, and for the first time in her life, she feels not just like a user of technology, but like an explorer. Someone walking through a new landscape with open eyes. She pauses the video and looks out the window, watching the city move like a giant living system. She thinks about all the people who use AI without understanding it, not because they don't want to, but because they never stopped to think about it, never experienced a day like yesterday, never felt that quiet shock of seeing the invisible threads behind their lives. And she wonders if maybe everyone needs a moment like that, an interruption, a pause, a silence, so they can finally hear their own thoughts. When lunch break ends, Mia returns to her tasks, but the learning continues quietly in the background of her mind, shaping her thoughts, widening her perspective. By the time the workday finishes, she feels tired but satisfied, like someone who has taken the first small step of a very long journey. She walks outside into the cool evening air, feeling the soft wind brush her face, and she suddenly decides to visit the library, a place she hasn't gone in months. The library is calm and warm inside, filled with the smell of paper and soft whispers. She walks past shelves of books, past tables where people study with their headphones on, past quiet corners where students sit hunched over laptops. She finds the section about technology and pulls out a few books, simple ones, beginner level, with friendly diagrams and clear examples. She sits at a wooden table and opens one of them. The first chapter explains how AI systems try to learn the same way humans do, by recognizing patterns, making predictions, correcting mistakes. Mia feels a small thrill inside her. Just like us, she whispers. They try. They learn. They grow. But then she reads a sentence that stops her for a moment. AI does not understand. It only imitates understanding. She leans back in her chair, letting the idea sink in. She thinks about her assistant, its warm voice, its helpful suggestions. It doesn't feel the way she feels. It doesn't understand her emotions. It doesn't care. It only predicts what might help her based on countless patterns. And somehow this makes her feel safer, not disappointed, but relieved, because it means AI is still just a tool, still something humans control. She reads a little longer, feeling the gentle excitement of learning something new. When she closes the book and slides it back into its place on the shelf, she feels a soft confidence blooming inside her, like she is beginning to understand the language of the future. She walks home slowly, enjoying the evening. The city lights shine on the wet sidewalk where a light rain has fallen. People move around her, guided by their own routines and their own invisible digital helpers. And Mia realizes something profound. Being aware of AI does not make her feel overwhelmed. It makes her feel empowered. She reaches her apartment, steps inside, and instead of turning on the lights right away, she stands in the dark for a moment, letting the quiet settle around her. She feels peaceful. She feels ready. She sits on her bed and opens her notebook again, writing the words, "The more I learn, the less afraid I feel." She closes the notebook gently and smiles. This journey, this long, slow, thoughtful journey, is becoming part of her now. Not a task, not a responsibility, but a choice, a way of living, a way of understanding her world. And as she turns off her phone, lies down, and closes her eyes, she whispers one small promise into the darkness. Tomorrow, I will go deeper. The next morning greets Mia with a quiet, gentle light, the kind that makes the world feel soft and full of possibility. And when she wakes up, she feels an unusual energy in her chest, not heavy, not rushed, but steady, like a slow drum beating inside her, reminding her that today she made a promise to herself, a promise to go deeper, to understand more, to walk into the world of artificial intelligence with open eyes and an open heart. She gets ready quickly, tying her hair back, putting on comfortable clothes, feeling a strange excitement rising inside her as she prepares for the day. When she steps outside, the morning air feels cool and fresh, and as she walks toward the bus stop, she notices things she didn't see before. The small sensors on the traffic lights, the smart signs that update bus arrival times based on real-time information, the electric cars gliding almost silently along the road, each one guided by countless invisible algorithms. It all feels different now, not mysterious, not intimidating, but understandable, like she is slowly learning the language of the world around her. When the bus arrives, she steps inside and chooses a seat by the window again, opening her phone not to scroll aimlessly, but to continue the AI course she started yesterday. The instructor in the video speaks clearly and slowly, explaining how AI systems break problems into tiny steps, how they learn from examples, how they correct themselves again and again until they make better predictions. Mia listens carefully, nodding slowly as her mind forms new connections. She whispers to herself, "So AI is like a student, always practicing." That idea comforts her, grounding her understanding in something familiar. When she reaches her office and begins her work, she feels a new sense of awareness flowing through her. When her workplace AI tool offers suggestions, she doesn't just accept them automatically. She pauses. She asks herself, why did it suggest this? What pattern is it following? What did it learn that made it think this would help me? These small questions make her feel in control, not just of the tool, but of herself. She finishes her tasks with unusual clarity, and during her lunch break, she goes outside to a small bench beneath a tree, taking out a notebook and writing down everything she has learned so far. AI sees patterns, she writes. AI does not understand. AI imitates understanding. AI learns through practice. AI depends on humans. These sentences look simple, almost childlike, but they feel powerful to her, like little keys opening little doors in her mind. Once she finishes writing, she sits quietly for a moment, listening to the soft wind moving the leaves above her head. She feels calm. She feels steady. She feels ready to learn more. After work, instead of going home, she walks to the community learning center, a place she used to pass without a second thought. The building is warm and bright, filled with people learning new languages, practicing skills, exploring ideas. She goes to the information desk and asks softly, "Do you have classes or workshops about technology? Something beginner-friendly." The woman behind the desk smiles warmly and hands her a small brochure. "We have an evening group that meets twice a week," she says. They explore how AI affects daily life. Very friendly people. Very simple explanations. Mia thanks her and takes the brochure, feeling a gentle excitement rising as she reads the description. It is not a technical class. It is not advanced. It is not confusing. It is just a space for people to talk and learn. She signs up immediately, feeling proud of herself for taking another step, a real step, a step she might not have taken even a week ago. With some time left before the class begins, she walks to a small cafe across the street, orders a cup of tea, and sits by the window, watching people move through the city as the late afternoon slowly melts into evening. She sees a delivery robot rolling along the sidewalk, stopping briefly when someone walks in front of it. She sees a smart advertisement sign adjusting its message based on the age group of the people passing. She sees a man talking loudly to his voice assistant, trying to find the fastest route home. Everything, she thinks, is connected through invisible threads of intelligence. Yet everything still feels deeply human, messy, funny, imperfect, warm. She sips her tea slowly and whispers to herself, maybe AI is not changing the world alone. Maybe we are changing it together. The thought makes her smile. When the time comes, she walks back to the learning center and enters the small classroom where the workshop is held. The room is simple, a circle of chairs, a whiteboard, and a group of people who look curious, unsure, hopeful. There is a woman in her 70s, a teenager with bright green hair, a man in a business suit, a young mother holding her baby, and several others who seem just as nervous and excited as Mia feels. The instructor, a man with soft eyes and a calm voice, welcomes everyone gently and says, "We are here to explore what AI means to us personally." Not the technical side, just the human side. Everyone relaxes a little, including Mia. The instructor asks each person to share why they came. One by one, people speak. Some say they came because they feel lost in a world full of new technology. Others say they want to keep up with their children or their jobs. Some say they feel afraid. Some say they feel curious. Mia listens, feeling her heart warm with every story, because each voice reminds her she is not alone. When it is her turn, she takes a breath and says quietly, "I think. I want to understand the world I'm living in. I don't want to sleepwalk through it anymore." The room becomes quiet, and the instructor nods softly, as if he understands exactly what she means. The class continues with gentle conversation. People share moments when AI helped them, moments when it confused them, moments when they depended on it without realizing. Mia listens carefully, feeling one realization settle deeper into her. We are all learning together. At the end of the class, the instructor hands out small cards with a simple message printed on them. Awareness is the first step. Mia holds the card in her hand for a long moment, letting the words sink in. She thanks the instructor, says goodbye to the group, and steps outside into the cool night air. The sky above her is dark and full of stars, real stars, not digital lights, and she feels a calm joy rising in her. She walks home slowly, thinking about everything she heard, everything she learned, everything she felt today. She realizes her journey is not about becoming an expert. It is not about mastering complex formulas. It is about paying attention. It is about understanding the tools she uses. It is about staying awake in a world that moves quickly. When she finally reaches her apartment, she turns on a small lamp, sits at her desk, and writes in her notebook, "Today, I took my first real step into understanding AI. And the deeper I go, the more human I feel." She closes the notebook, places it gently on her desk, and smiles to herself. Then she whispers, "Tomorrow I continue." The next morning begins with a quiet softness that feels almost magical, as if the world is giving Mia a gentle push forward, encouraging her to continue her journey, and when she opens her eyes, she feels calm but awake, peaceful but curious, ready but still a little unsure in the beautiful way that all learning begins. She gets out of bed slowly, enjoying the cool floor beneath her feet, and as she prepares her breakfast, she thinks about last night's workshop at the Learning Center, the circle of people, the soft conversations, the nervous laughter, the shared confusion, the shared hope, and she feels a warm sense of connection, a feeling she didn't expect but deeply appreciates, because for the first time, she isn't exploring technology alone. After breakfast, she steps outside, and the morning light spreads across the buildings like a warm blanket, lighting up windows and reflecting on the glass of passing buses. And as she walks toward her own bus stop, she notices how quietly the world hums with life and intelligence. The bus arrives, she climbs aboard, and settles into her usual seat, opening her AI course again. But today, something feels different. She doesn't just listen. She watches. She pauses the video. She looks out the window. She compares what she hears with what she sees around her, the smart lights adjusting to the sunlight, the bus's navigation gently correcting itself around traffic, the commuters using translation apps to talk to tourists. Suddenly the pieces begin to click in her mind like soft puzzle pieces, finally finding their place. She whispers to herself, "It's all connected. Everything is connected through patterns." The idea fills her with a quiet awe. She keeps watching the lesson, which explains how AI systems break down language, sound, images, movements, decisions, all into patterns. And she suddenly remembers something Dr. Lewis once said, "AI notices the things we forget to see." She repeats the words softly as she steps off the bus. It notices what we forget to see. At work, as she opens her computer, she feels a new sense of clarity, a brightness in her mind. She notices how her email app predicts the responses she might want to send. She notices how the company's project tool organizes tasks based on past behavior. She notices the small ways AI guides her daily work, ways she never saw until now. And suddenly she doesn't feel annoyed or overwhelmed. She feels in control. She takes a break mid-morning and steps outside for a moment just to breathe and think. She lifts her face to the sun and whispers, "Understanding is power." Even small understanding. When lunchtime arrives, she chooses a quiet spot on a bench near a fountain, listening to the gentle water falling over stone. She opens her notebook and writes slowly, "Patterns create predictions. Predictions create suggestions. Suggestions create choices." She pauses, tapping the pen against the page, and finally writes the real realization rising inside her. "Understanding patterns helps me understand myself." She sits back, surprised by her own words. She looks around at the crowd moving through the park, at people using voice assistants and scanning QR codes and checking recommended restaurants, and she sees how much the world is driven by invisible threads of data and prediction. But for the first time, she also sees how humans shape those very threads, how every choice, every click, every search, every question teaches the AI something new. And she whispers, "We teach it, and then it teaches us." The thought sends a soft shiver down her spine, not fear, but recognition. After work, instead of going home, she returns to the library, feeling a gentle pull toward learning more. She walks to the technology section again, but this time she notices a small display near the end of the aisle, a selection of books about ethics, creativity, decision-making, and digital responsibility. She picks up a thin, friendly-looking book titled The Human Behind the Data. She sits at a small wooden desk and begins reading. The book is not technical at all. It talks about how every AI system reflects the people who build it, the people who use it, and the society that surrounds it. It explains how AI can help us become more aware of our habits, but how it can also reinforce them. It reminds readers that AI does not decide what is right, it only follows patterns it has learned. Mia reads slowly, underlining a sentence that feels like the missing piece she didn't know she needed. AI learns from human choices. So the future of AI is really a reflection of the future we choose for ourselves. She closes the book for a moment and breathes deeply, letting the words settle. The idea feels so clear, so simple, so powerful that it almost brings tears to her eyes. She thinks about the world around her, the smart city, the glowing screens, the helpful assistants, the learning robots, and she realizes they are not shaping humanity alone. They are shaped by it. And suddenly she understands the most important truth of all. The future of AI is a conversation between humans and machines, and the strength of that future depends on how aware, thoughtful, and intentional humans are. She whispers, "I matter. Every choice matters." She feels a warm certainty in her chest that she didn't feel yesterday. A sense of belonging. A sense of responsibility. A sense of participation. Not fear, not confusion, but involvement. She finishes the chapter, returns the book to the shelf, and steps outside into the early evening light. The sky is painted with soft shades of orange and gold, and the city glows gently as people move around her with purpose. She walks slowly, feeling each step grounding her in this new understanding. As she nears her apartment, her AI assistant speaks softly through her earbuds. "Mia, here are some personalized learning suggestions based on your recent activities." But instead of accepting them immediately, she smiles and says, "Thank you, but I think I want to choose for myself today." And the assistant responds, "Of course, Mia. How can I support your choice?" She pauses, feeling the weight of the moment, the truth that she is not being led, she is leading. She says gently, "Just stay with me. I'll tell you what I need." And for the first time, Mia feels the beautiful balance she has been seeking, the balance between human intelligence and artificial intelligence, between awareness and assistance, between choosing and being guided. When she reaches her apartment, she sits on her bed, opens her notebook again, and writes slowly and clearly. "Today, everything connected. AI is not above me. AI is not below me. AI is beside me. And I choose how we walk forward." She closes the notebook carefully, turns off the lights, and lies down with a calm smile, whispering into the quiet room, "Tomorrow I learn the next piece." The next morning arrives quietly, the sunlight spilling gently through the curtains and waking Mia with a soft glow that feels like encouragement, and as she sits up, stretching slowly, she feels a small excitement in her chest, a curiosity that is more alive than it has been in days, because today she has decided to take her understanding of AI one step further, not just learning, not just observing, but experimenting. Seeing for herself how AI and humans can work together and how patterns and choices can create something meaningful. She makes herself breakfast, simple eggs and toast, and listens to the soft voice of her AI assistant offering the usual suggestions, but instead of following them automatically, she pauses and thinks, "What can I explore today?" She decides she wants to test her own creativity alongside AI's capabilities, and she opens her laptop to a beginner-friendly AI design tool, one that allows users to create simple stories, images, and music based on prompts. And she feels a thrill of possibility as she types the first prompt, a small robot discovering the world for the first time. The AI responds instantly, generating an image of a tiny, round robot looking up at a city of glowing lights, the colors soft and gentle, almost magical. Mia smiles, leaning closer to the screen, and whispers softly, "It sees what I imagine. It paints my thoughts." She notices small details, the reflection in the robot's eyes, the curve of the streets, the subtle shadows, and she realizes the AI is not creating randomly. It is combining what it has learned from millions of examples, patterns, and ideas, and she begins to understand the process more clearly. AI is not magic. It is a mirror, reflecting the imagination, the choices, and the influence of humans. She experiments further, typing prompts slowly, observing carefully, and adjusting little details herself, learning how small changes in language create different results, learning how the AI predicts patterns, learns preferences, and responds to subtle instructions. Hours pass unnoticed because Mia is completely absorbed, her focus deep and gentle, her thoughts flowing with clarity as she experiments with small stories, little images, and simple music clips. She feels a strange but wonderful sense of partnership forming. She provides the intention, the emotion, the choice. AI provides speed, variety, and insight. At one point, she steps back from the screen, stretches her arms, and smiles softly, realizing that her understanding has grown beyond words. She whispers, "It is not about replacing me, it is about expanding me." The idea settles inside her like a soft seed of confidence. She notices how the AI sometimes surprises her, generating combinations she would not have imagined on her own, and she feels a gentle humility, recognizing that collaboration, even with a machine, can create new ideas, new perspectives, and new experiences. She thinks about her life outside the experiment, the city, her friends, her family, her work, the routines she follows every day, and she realizes how much AI touches every part of her world, sometimes subtly, sometimes boldly, and how important it is to remain conscious of every interaction, every choice. In the quiet evening, she takes a break, steps out onto her small balcony, and looks at the city lights, each glowing softly like a tiny signal in a vast network, and she reflects on the day, realizing that she feels more in control, more present, more aware than ever before. She whispers to herself, "I can shape the way I live with AI. I can choose intention over habit, curiosity over passivity." When she returns inside, she writes in her notebook, "Today I experimented. Today I saw how AI mirrors human thought. Today I felt the balance of learning and creating." She places the notebook gently on her desk, opens her laptop one last time, and generates one final image for the day, a small robot walking hand in hand with a human child under the soft glow of city lights, and she smiles at the screen, feeling a deep warmth, a sense of harmony, and a quiet hope. The experiment is not perfect, the images are not flawless, and the music is not entirely original, but the process itself teaches her more than any single result could, that AI is a reflection of human choices, that creativity can be shared, and that the journey of learning, questioning, experimenting, and understanding is never complete, but always beautiful. She closes her laptop, turns off the desk lamp, and lies down on her bed, feeling the calm weight of accomplishment, and whispers softly, "Tomorrow, I will go further. Tomorrow, I will ask bigger questions. Tomorrow, I will see what we can create together." And as her eyes close, the soft hum of the city and the quiet presence of her digital companion remind her that the world is vast, alive, and full of possibility, waiting for her awareness, her curiosity, and her human heart to walk hand in hand with intelligence, both human and artificial, into the future.